The beginnings of Opera North. In the fall, when I arrived to teach at Dartmouth College of 1981, I noticed that even though this was a rural area, that there were quite a number of talented classical singers in the region. And so I, obviously having come from a school program at the Yale School of Music where there was lots of opera, in which I participated in, I naturally asked about those kinds of opportunities. And I was told that there really wasn't any opera in the area. There was some operetta, people who did Gilbert and Sullivan. I thought, well, wouldn't it be fun to really see if a rural opera company could thrive? I thought that would be really interesting. And so there was a stage director in the area who was game, and we just put together some very modest projects at the Grange Hall in Thetford. And it was received very well. And there was an umbrella outfit, the Parish Players, that also had spawned a group called the Light Opera of Norwich. And so they asked me to be the musical director for that summer. And again, that seemed to go very, very well. And a lot of people there were very interested in doing more adventuresome things. So with that in mind, those two experiences sort of launched Opera North. But even from the very beginning, I wanted it to be a place where we could train people, because the profession requires a great deal of training in music and voice, in acting, to be able to really pull off opera. Opera is not for the faint of heart, either as an audience member or for people who participate, in the craft of opera. You have to have a lot of skill in a lot of different areas. So I really wanted us to be the catalyst for that. As we performed, we also had a very small cadre of students from Dartmouth College and other colleges in the region, and that's really what I discovered, is that I was good at coaching these young people and was able to get some pretty good results pretty quickly from them. And that's when I decided that would be our calling card, and to this very day, that indeed has been what we are most known for. Our productions are extremely competent, they're miraculous sometimes, and they really entertain our audiences. But what I have made the sort of centerpiece of our work is the training of young singers, young directors, and young conductors, giving them opportunities and allowing them to, express themselves and to give them feedback and watch them spread their wings when they leave Opera North. So I think the beginnings and the goals that we established are pretty much the same things that we are doing 40 years later. To have a success follow another success. In other words, the minute you have a success, then the first thing you're worried about is making sure that the next thing you do will be equally received as successfully and viewed by the public as something that they want to, spend money to come to see and also to invest in. So that is something that you have to lose a little bit of sleep over, on what kind of piece to put after you've successfully done a particular piece. Do you follow it with the same kind of thing? Do you go in a completely different direction, or language, or style? Do you try to do something that the public doesn't know? There's just all sorts of things you have to kind of put on the table to keep success at your fingertips, so to speak. I think that the singing of opera in English translation under even the best circumstances is challenging, so that when super titles came around and the ability to go back to singing opera in the original language made itself available to us, we jumped and immediately made the transition. And I think had not that technology been available, perhaps our escalation into the big regional opera, melting pot that where people everywhere across the country know who we are, would probably have been a lot slower. But because of super titles, we were able to bring singers here who were only comfortable singing things in their original languages, and allowed us just a lot more flexibility of pieces that we could do successfully. Things in Russian, things in German, things in French, in addition to, of course, the staple of Italian opera, which is, at the heart of any opera company's repertoire, is music in Italian. Trying to find truth in a performer's skill set, trying to always get them to find the truth in the music and not to sing for any kind of adulation or to make their voice sound so beautiful that becomes the focus, to really take the music, find what is the most important thing in that music and make sure that is what gets out to the audience, and to be able to relate to other characters in a very natural but also compelling way, to always be listening to the other singers, listening to the orchestra, to really be an ensemble player, just the way it is in any kind of activity. But in opera, you have to be able to be so comfortable and competent yourself to be able to find that ensemble skill set. So it's a tricky thing that you constantly have to reinforce and get people to buy into. But I've been relentless about that, and I've asked that of all the colleagues that I've hired to be in that sort of role of supporting their singers, either as directors or musical coaches or the conductors, that we constantly work for that ensemble experience that allows the audience to see real life reflected in the music. I think that we will try to, as Evans has talked about, try to use as many different art forms. Evans Hale, being our current general director, has used as many different art forms as we can to complement the operatic experience. Circus artists, dance artists, musical theater artists, popular music artists. All those things are, very important parts of the American culture, and the more we can embrace them and have opera perform alongside of them or even with them, as we have done with the circus artists, that will make for the most interesting art form, I think, in the 50th year, which is, I guess, 10 years from now. I'm looking around, and tonight it's fantastic because I'm not participating in the concert, so I can kind of be an impartial observer, and I just love what I'm seeing. People really enjoying themselves on the grounds of, a place that is probably one of the most beautiful places I've ever been to, and knowing they're also going to attend a very strong performance in a little while. I mean, I can't imagine anything much better than that in terms of what you do when you have spare time and spare money to spend. This is a great way to do it. I think that the immersive experience is something that will draw people from a very wide geographic range. Our New England is our market, and we do have people that come here from the South, from the Midwest, but I think that will increase pretty drastically, and I think our Canadian audience will increase as well, as the word about just the beauty and the experience of attending a performance at Blow Me Down Farm continues to spread.